Back in 2021, my screen time used to be 9 hours a day. TikTok was the first thing I saw in the morning and the last thing I saw at night. I had no hobbies, no real friends, no sense of who I was, and all of my spare time was spent distracting or consuming. Meanwhile, I'd be watching other people online who seemed to be living their best lives. They had so many friends, they'd be traveling around the world, and I'd feel this deep sense of jealousy. They were doing everything I wish I had the courage to do, but I was sat alone in my bedroom, trapped by social anxiety. But fast forward to now, and I've become that person that I used to be jealous of. My screen time is under 1 hour a day. I spend all of my time on meaningful activities like doing yoga, working out, reading, building a project. I've overcome the social anxiety that once totally controlled my life, and I'm building up my own business, which is something I never thought I was capable of. And all of this happened because I learned how to take back my time and invest it into myself instead of a screen. And so in this video, I want to share with you the 5 key lessons that helped me to break the toxic cycle of scrolling for good, so that you too can reclaim your time, your confidence, and your peace of mind. Number 1, you are disconnected from yourself. This is the reason why you're unsure how to spend your time or unsure what goals to work on. Because when you are constantly being bombarded with advice, opinions, and information from the outside world, you start to lose touch with your own inner compass. What I didn't realize for the longest time was just how much the content that I consumed shaped my identity, my thoughts, and my actions. It was interesting to see how the minute I reduced content consumption and got rid of the external noise, lots of my thoughts and my actions started to change. I stopped buying clothes that I just didn't need. I stopped focusing on how I look and obsessing over my body. I stopped feeling like the world was a bad place. I realized that a lot of these beliefs and thoughts weren't actually mine, but they were absorbed from the world around me. They were the result of me constantly exposing my mind to advertisements, negative news, and everyone else's opinions. The more time I spent with myself, going for a walk, reflecting, sitting in silence, the more I started to reconnect back to what truly matters to me. I started asking myself, who am I, instead of who do I think I should be? What do I really want? If no one else's opinions or judgments mattered, what would I want to do? A lot of us think the answers to figuring out these questions are out there in the world, but I disagree. I think that all of the answers that you need are in here, but you just can't see them because they're buried beneath all of the crap that the world throws at you. Think of it like this. On a cloudy day, it's easy to look up at the sky and think that everything is dark and miserable. But the truth is, the sun hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there, but you just can't see it because the clouds are covering it. Well, you are the same. Your peace of mind, your clarity, your answers, your intuition, they're all inside of you. But right now, they're buried under layers of noise, people's advice, expectations, opinions, content, pressure, information, everyone telling you who you should be. So the first step to figuring out your direction is learning to be with yourself. You don't need any more YouTube videos, any more advice, any more podcasts. The person you're gonna learn the most from is you. But you never give yourself the chance to hear your own inner voice because you're constantly drowning it out with noise. The most important relationship that you will ever have in this lifetime is the one that you have with yourself, because you have to live up here. So make it a priority to spend time with yourself. Number 2, get clarity on your values. Look, I'm not here to totally bash social media. It has many benefits and it's definitely improved my life in so many ways. I can stay connected to my friends and family in other countries. I get to create and share these videos. I'm building up my own business online, and so I'm not here to pretend it's all negative. But here's the issue. Most of us never stop to ask ourselves, do the negatives outweigh the positives, and actually look at what social media is truly costing us. We tend to only justify the benefits even though it might be truly harming our lives. And so the turning point for me many years ago is when I finally got clear on my values. For example, some of my core values in life are health, presence, building meaningful connections. But even though I said those were my values, back then my actions didn't align with that at all. I was spending 9 hours a day on my phone on the couch, and so I was trading my values of health, my peace of mind, and my connections for the so-called benefits of social media. So this is when I did a really simple exercise that helped to change my perspective. I made a pros and cons list. I wrote down all the benefits that social media gives me and what are the costs. And at the time, my list looked something like this. The pros: I can stay up to date with what my friends are doing online. I like learning from other people on topics that I'm interested in. I like sharing a daily Instagram story and getting the likes because it makes me feel good. But the cons are that I spend 9 hours a day on my phone. I don't go to the gym or cook healthy meals because I waste all of my free time. All of the goals I care about are being pushed to the side, and I feel so much regret and shame in how I spend my time. And as I looked at this list, I started to see that every day that I spent 9 hours on my phone, I was trading my values for something far more superficial. And seeing it in that black and white helped me to cut out the excuses, such as I want to stay connected to my friend, because it made me realize that the trade-off I was making just wasn't worth it. I was sacrificing all of the things that I said I care about in return for something far less beneficial. And so I had to get clarity on what is more important. Is it more important to see my friend's story on Instagram? Or is it more important that I build up my health and I go to the gym and I cook healthy meals? Is it more important to scroll through the feed and learn a few random facts? Or is it more important to start that YouTube channel and create the videos that I've been wishing to create for years? And so here's what I want you to do. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Do not use your phone notes. And I want you to make a pros and cons list. Write down the positives that social media gives you and then write down the negatives. And I'm gonna be honest, if you're not willing to take this single practical step right now, then nothing in this video is gonna help you to change your life. Because change doesn't come from watching more self-improvement content, it comes from taking action. So please take this action step. Don't just watch the video, because this exercise will help to give you some clarity. It forces you to face the truth, and if you want to change your life, then you have to start getting honest with yourself. And if you're stuck or you've been failing to make a change, but you want to cut your screen time by 50% or more in less than 30 days and reclaim 20 plus hours every week, then I've created a simple step-by-step program designed to help you live more intentionally. Spots are limited and enrollment is closing on December the 23rd, 2025, so click the link in the description to secure your spot today. Number 3, stimulation always wins. Social media is designed to be exciting and highly engaging. But the problem with that is that our brains were not built for this level of stimulation. We still have the same brain wiring that we did thousands of years ago, and so it struggles to handle the constant novelty of these apps. In just a few minutes of scrolling, your brain gets more stimulation than our ancestors would have gotten an entire day. And so as long as social media is the most stimulating thing in your life, you will always struggle to choose to do the hard and meaningful tasks that you want to work on. Your brain is always going to choose scrolling over cleaning your house, TikTok over working on your project, Instagram over studying for your dream job. And it's not because you're lazy or undisciplined, but it's because your brain is wired to default to the easiest option, unless you intentionally change your environment. And so if you're serious about your goals and you're serious about your life, then you have to face the truth. For as long as social media dominates your life, everything else will suffer. Your focus suffers, your discipline suffers, your habits suffer, your confidence suffers. We need to stop normalizing these habits that are draining all of your energy and your potential. Stop lowering your standards just because everyone else around you has. And so it comes back down to this simple question. Look at your list and ask yourself, what is more important to you? Staying up to date with the Instagram group chat, or building up your business for your family? Getting a few likes on your Instagram story, or going to the gym so that you can invest in your health, your energy, and your confidence. For me, real progress only came when I removed social media as an option. I'd spent years waiting for motivation to appear and it never did. And it's because my brain was addicted to constant stimulation, and so everything else seemed boring and less appealing. Once I removed it, boredom hit and I finally started seeking meaningful action. Number 4, being present in your real life is more fulfilling. Social media plays on our deepest social needs, the need for belonging, the need for approval, and the need for validation. And it's purposely designed to trigger FOMO, the fear of missing out, which is why so many of us cannot delete these apps even when we want to, because we're scared. What if I lose my friends online? What if I'm not invited to this event? What if my friends meet up in the group chat without me? Every like, every comment, every notification gives us a sense of importance. That small sense of validation keeps us coming back, even when we know deep down that it isn't serving us. And so I'm gonna be honest, at first, when you reduce your social media usage, it might feel like a sacrifice. We're not as connected to our friends anymore. We don't see the constant likes, notifications, and posts. You will miss out on the latest trends, memes, or videos. Maybe you're not part of every group chat conversation and you'll start to feel a little bit left out of the know. But I can tell you now, nothing, absolutely nothing, will make you feel more fulfilled than being present in your real life. Honestly, when I first got off social media, it did feel like a sacrifice and I felt a bit lost. I didn't know what to do with my time, I didn't know what hobbies to do, and my friends would talk about things online and I had no idea what they were talking about. I did feel a little bit left out and I did lose some contact with people. But slowly, as I started building real habits and hobbies, life started to feel different. The fulfillment I felt from working on my goals far outweighed the little hits of validation I used to get from social media. I started doing things I didn't even realize I could do. I learned how to cook, I was reading endless books, I was working out most days, feeling strong in my body, I was learning new skills, my confidence was growing, and for the first time in a long time, I started to feel proud of myself and I actually started to like who I was. And when that happened, those little hits of validation from social media totally lost their meaning. I didn't need anyone else's approval to feel worthy anymore because I finally started to like myself. The truth is, many of us today are trading superficial validation for the depths of real life. I can't tell you how amazing it feels to actually feel like you love yourself. When you're addicted to social media, you're missing out on experiences, opportunities, and real connections. And these are the things that make life feel meaningful. Moments like having a deep conversation with your friend, or learning something new that excites you, achieving a personal goal, or even just going for a quiet walk without distractions. These are the moments that make life truly worth living. Being fully present in your life is infinitely more fulfilling than any amount of likes, notifications, or followers ever could be. It may feel like a sacrifice at first, but I promise you, when you start showing up for yourself and engaging with your real life, you won't need anybody else. You'll start to feel alive, capable, and proud of yourself. And this is where real confidence, growth, and happiness comes from. Number 5, change the relationship. If you want to take control of your life and stop spending all of your time scrolling, then you need to stop relying on short-term fixes. Weekend detoxes or telling yourself, I'll only scroll today for 2 hours instead of 6, does not solve the root problem. Social media is designed to be addictive, and thousands of engineers work full-time to keep you hooked. And so your willpower alone can't compete with this, because if it could, then you wouldn't be watching this video. The only real way forward is this: you have to change your relationship with your phone permanently, not temporarily, not just when you feel motivated, not just for a few weeks and then things go well and you can go back to normal. Think of social media like a toxic ex. You keep going back to your old habits and thinking things will be different, but every time you do, it pulls you back into the same cycle of distraction, overstimulation, procrastination, and feeling guilty. And that's because social media is built to be addictive. And so if you want real long-term haven't changed, then you have to create boundaries and put in some distance. So here's what you want to do. Unfollow accounts that don't serve you. Just like you clean your room when it gets messy, you should also clean your social media when it gets too busy. Do an unfollowing spree. Unfollow influencers who don't even bring any value to your life, or people from the past that you barely even know. Not everyone we follow deserves a place in our life, and so you need to be picky of who you let in. Make sure your feed supports the new version of you and reminds you of who you want to be. The next thing you can do is create boundaries that protect you. Basically, you need to make scrolling inconvenient. This isn't just about relying on willpower, but we want to set up our environment so that the habit is harder to access. Keep your phone across the room from where you're sitting, because then you're less likely to pick it up. Don't charge your phone by your bedside table, but charge it across the room from you or in another room and buy an alarm clock. Delete social media apps entirely from your home screen and make the rule that you can only download them when you need to use them. Turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone so that it only pings when it's something important. And stop taking your phone to the bathroom with you or taking it out on walks. And yes, even years later, after breaking my addiction, I still practice these boundaries, because these are the things that help me to not slip back into old habits. They might sound small, but they're so powerful, because how you shape your environment will shape your behavior. The next thing you want to try and do is to reset your brain. Your mind is addicted to scrolling, which is why you keep on going back. And so in order to break the cycle, you want to break the dependency. If you can, I would suggest trying to do 30 days offline. I promise you, you will feel so different by the end. But if that feels too much, maybe even just try a week. Personally, I just think it's better to just rip the band-aid off, because like I said, it's super addictive. And so if you tell yourself, I'll try and scroll for 3 hours today instead of 5, the likelihood is very low. However, if that does feel too much right now, then just start small. Start by not going on your phone for the first hour of the morning or in the evening. As the weeks go on and you get better at resisting those urges, increase the time more and more. The goal is to work towards using it as less as possible so that you can finally break the dependency, remember what real life feels like again, and reclaim your attention. And lastly, you want to learn how to embrace boredom. Boredom is a very important emotion that you're gonna have to get familiar with. At first, things will feel boring because you've been so highly stimulated for so long, but try and see boredom as part of the process and not something that you need to run away from. I made a video on boredom 2 weeks ago, so go check it out. Learn why it is good for you, how it 10 times my productivity, and I hope this video helped you. All the best.